So he's welcoming the press to the press conference and saying that there are two reasons that he asked the Chancellor Werner Faymann to meet him. One is the relations between the two countries, between Austria and Hungary, and the other is the migrant situation. The two topics are not independent, they're closely linked, he's saying. I talked to my partners and told them that Hungary would like to keep its traditional good relationships with Austria. And he's saying that is of a high value to Hungary and his government. We learned a lot about European integration from our grandparents, from our parents, and the importance of having good relationships with, between Austria and Hungary. So a little bit of background from the Prime Minister, who's saying he wants to preserve that. Now, there are some agreements, some topics that we do have to question. And he's just making the point here that in public we don't discuss these things because that puts in danger the relationships. Just as he's saying that, a little bit of background, it's known that there is a little bit of tension between the two leaders, and they did clash. Maybe that word's too strong, but they did argue in Brussels. So he's saying he's come to Vienna for this meeting to cement these relations, to make them better. We feel that Hungary was let down when we need to face a problem which Hungary is especially concerned about. But at the same time, it's not only Hungary's problem, it's Germany's and a few other European countries' problem as well. While we try to do our best to meet the common rules, the Schengen rules, the rules within the European Union. At the same time, somebody is, well, he's saying attacks us from the back, stabs them in the back while they are protecting, or we are protecting, the border, which is a Schengen border as well. And at the same time, we come under criticism. So he's outlining the problem. And of course, the problem is in maintaining their identity. And the problem also is that it can damage relationships with Austria, and then we both pay the price. So we want to stop that. We want to close what has happened. We should turn the page in the book. Forget, he's saying, forget these arguments. We are ready to turn the page, though we remember that Austria called us certain things. We will forget about what Austria said, what Hungary did was reminding Europe of the dark ages. We're trying to forget the lie, he is saying, that Hungary didn't meet its obligations concerning the rights of the refugees. We're going to consider it didn't happen. We need to concentrate on the problem. Viktor Orbán is saying we should try to help each other. Because after all, we are in the same situation, Austria and Hungary is referring to. So he has been quite open in the accusations and now saying what they want to do. Hungary is ready to protect the border with Serbia. Hungary is ready and able to stop the illegal migration, the illegal by crossing the border. We're ready to let them cross the border where it is legal. The reason that we're in the same boat with the Austria, because Croatia, through which illegal migrants are pouring in, is a member of the European Union. In principle, from Croatia to Hungary, only such people could come who have already requested asylum in Croatia and who were registered there and afterwards like to cross the border. It's the same situation that's happening in the Austrian-Hungarian border, he's saying. This has been strengthened because in the latest summit last Wednesday, we showed a document, produced a document saying that all 28 states must agree with the Dublin Statement. And the asylum-seeking situation is not related to Schengen, but to the Dublin Agreement. And everyone must apply with it, must abide by it. And Croatia cannot say they're not members of the Schengen Agreement because they're members of the other agreement. So the situation between Austria and Hungary is the same. And as I said last Wednesday, now we can reiterate it, and this is the moment we can settle a situation between the two countries, and this is the reason why we selected today to meet. He's saying he has experienced goodwill from the partners. The constructions were constructive. They were in the spirit of good intentions. There have been some differences in the opinions, but everybody was talking about the differences in the opinion with the intention of bridging those, of moving forward. So I think we have reached our objective, and I think relations between Austria and Hungary are better now than they were 8 o'clock this morning. And the other point I would make is that Hungary wants a clear answer. There are two options, and Hungary must decide which direction to follow. One would be that the Prime Minister of Croatia's official offer, he offered that we should dismantle, bring down the fence, which we're actually building right now between Croatia and Hungary. He's saying one option is to bring it down. He actually also said the Serbian border should also be open, so that's a different story. So let's break down the fence with Croatia, and we and Croatia should organize a corridor through which migrants could get to the place, the country, where they would like to get to, because they don't want to go to Croatia, nor to Hungary, but through Austria to Germany primarily. We should not make any obstacle, we should organize this corridor. So this Croatian proposal is contrary to what's been said all along. If Austria and Germany, where the migrants want to go to, if they support this idea, we consider it, and it can legally be made, can be enforced. But the Austrian Chancellor said he is not going to accept it, and he is going to issue a statement, and said that the international agreements must be applied with. I've understood that, I've acknowledged. I asked him to do it, and he should also support Hungary in all the efforts we've done to protect the borders. And we must identify certain border crossings where migrants can cross from Croatia, Hungary. I didn't ask him to argue, but I asked him to support me. But I didn't get any answer. That's from the Chancellor of Austria. The Chancellor will be issuing a statement And he understands saying that protecting their borders is every state's duty, which means I can also interpret it that he's not going to attack Hungary, because Hungary is going to enforce all the international laws and agreements. I have to highlight this because last year, before this migration problem, it was quite clear the arrival of migrants, but half the quantity arrived before the end of October. In the other part of the year, the other 50%. So even by the calculations, between 200,000 will arrive to get to Austria and Germany. They arrive to our southern borders. Introducing the protection of the border with Serbia has met with expectations. So today, every day, we have 9,000 illegal migrants. Today, we have 100 coming. Every day, complying with the rules, they go to the normal border crossings, where we have the normal procedures. There's another 100, 150 who try to get into Hungary illegally, despite offence. And this is now a criminal offence. We detain these people, and we have the criminal procedures to follow. So the protective system that we erected on the Serbian border with Hungary has met our expectations, and the ideal is to make it work with Croatia as well. I have talked with the Prime Minister of Croatia to clarify the question, and in the state of acceptance, Austria acknowledges that if Hungary wants to comply with the international agreement, Hungary must have a real border protection at the Croatia border. So we've tried to make some agreements with that with Croatia, but the Croatians want this corridor policy. But these negotiations are going on. There will be a policy summit next week at the UN, and I will be going there. I'm going to that summit, and I will try and make some representation at that summit at the United Nations at a higher level than at the European level. So the Serbian situation is going to happen at the Croatian border as well. We might have to enforce the rules which we can guarantee only at the Austro-Hungarian border can migrants cross under the international agreements. He's now referring back to the summit last Wednesday when he said people tried to alarm the whole of Europe. A válság sújtottai vezetekben és a menekülttáborokban. És elmondta, később nyilvánosan is, tehát nem árulok el önöknek ezzel úgy. He's saying that several tens of millions are preparing to come to Europe. So what do we have to face now? It's not just a migration or immigration problem. It's modern age migration. And we don't know how many will follow these people. So he's talking huge, huge numbers. We haven't even talked about the trend, which is... We haven't even talked about the migration from places like Niger, the masses of people there. And we can presume if the European Union is pursuing, continuing what they've done so far, they will start, people from those countries will start on their way to migrate to Europe. So this is a press conference with the Prime Minister of Hungary, who has met with the Austrian Chancellor in Vienna. Those points to consider. He did admit relationships with Austria have been poor, but they are better now than they were at 8 o'clock this morning, he said. They're looking at their rights, Hungary's rights, to close their border. They're looking at an option to provide a corridor through the border at Croatia, if it's acceptable to Austria and Germany. So you can just see the highlights of what he has been saying below you on this screen. So we're just going to leave and go back for the rest of the news, leave this press conference in which the Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has really been in full flow and has been quite open in his criticism of people who have criticized his decision to close the border with Serbia and Croatia, and he admitted he is now looking at options. Do stay with us for more news.